Is it time that Sony needs to release a PSP? Do you even want a new portable device from Sony? Now, it's no secret with the wild and continued success of the Nintendo Switch and with the high demand of the Steam Deck, portable gaming devices are here to stay. But it got me thinking, what if Sony made another one? I'm going to be diving into what a modern portable PlayStation device should have or needs to have in order to break into and solidify itself as a contender in the portable gaming market. Let me know in the comments down below what you would want to see in a portable device from PlayStation and if you'd even want one to begin with. However, for some context, here is a quick recap on PlayStation's more recent attempts into the portable gaming market.
It's a nut you can play with outside!
PSP. It's like a nut you can play with outside.
In 2004, the newly released PSP or the PlayStation Portable would have a successful time in its 8 to 10 year lifespan, selling over 76 million units worldwide. This did, however, pale in comparison to the DS, which was its quote-unquote rival at the time, outselling the PSP 2-1 and selling roughly 154 million units. However, nevertheless, the PSP was still seen as a commercial success. There were over 800 PSP titles to choose from with a wide variety of genres, so players had a plethora of choice. Sony tried its hand at a PSP Go in 2009, but we don't really talk about this one. It had the same specs as the then 5-year-old PSP. It was digital only and there was no consistent way of knowing what PSP games would go onto the digital store. Shortly after, in 2011, Sony then tried their hand yet again at another device, the Vita. Positioned to be the PSP's successor, unfortunately didn't do quite as well. In fact, it was seen as a commercial failure. This can be attributed to the lack of games and the lack of third-party support, and like the PSP, it was once again rivaling a more popular Nintendo handheld device, this time the 3DS. The reputation and common public perception around the Vita was that it felt like Sony had forgotten they even released this thing months after it had come out. It had over 1,300 games, but a lot of the games weren't actually Vita exclusives. They were just simply ports. There were some exclusive games, but they were few and far between. This lack of support drove sales down, and creatives weren't prepared to put in the time and the effort into a dying device so close to its release. People weren't buying because there was no support, developers weren't supporting because people weren't buying. It created a formidable cycle that, for the Vita, eventually led to its early demise. The PSP Vita only sold about 16 million units compared to the 76 sold for the 3DS. So you can see that Sony have dabbled with portable devices in the past, however they've never really been able to achieve that notoriety or commercial success of its competitors. But let's now look to the future to see what a modern Sony portable gaming device could look like. What past mistakes can they learn from to make a gaming device complement or even elevate their current gaming ecosystem? Let's start with the game structure. Portable devices usually come with either one of two models or structures for its games. Number one, you could go the route of the PSP, PS Vita, 3DS, etc. and just make specific exclusive games that are only playable on this device, with the occasional port. I feel like this is somewhat of an outdated model now, as it doesn't allow for synchronicity across ecosystems. This was a model implemented in the past as devices were very low in specs and therefore it was a necessity, but technology has come such a long way and for the most part this is no longer a necessity or an issue. Option 2, which is what I would go with, is taking the Switch or the Steam Deck approach, where no matter if you're playing the game docked or on a portable device, you should be able to access an entire game library. Share games from current and past consoles on this device and grant players access to their libraries regardless of whether they're using the console or the portable device. I feel like option 2 is the way to go, as it creates a cohesive gaming experience and allows players to enjoy their PlayStation games in settings that were once not possible. Allowing players to connect or dock to a TV in some capacity is also a necessity in my view, whether this is through a docking system like the Switch or via a HDMI cord, it doesn't really matter to me. And also, as a given, have the PS4 and PS5 controllers be compatible with the device to play your games with. Nintendo have a great system where regardless of whether you're playing in docked or not, there are a variety of controller options always available to its players. So that's the gaming structure. Let's now move into what it might look like buying games on this device itself. One thing that Sony should look to in this regard is the PS Vita. The Vita had a very limited number of exclusive games and it therefore affected sales quite drastically. I would love for this new device to have some exclusive games to get some third-party support, as it would also give people a reason to buy this device. It would also mean that this device isn't just reduced to a device to play games you already own on the consoles. On top of those exclusive games, I think you should also be able to play your existing games from previous consoles on this device, so you're getting the best of both worlds. Now, having a mix of old games that you already own mixed with new exclusive titles instantly gives this portable device value. One point that does concern me, however, is regarding a new PSP, and it's going to be its capabilities. The Steam Deck itself, in terms of specs, is almost as powerful as the standard PS4. It is pretty crazy to think that the power of a PS4 is now crammed into a portable device, but I do feel like if PlayStation were to release a new device, it would, at a bare minimum, need to be as powerful as a PS4. Preferably, if they could manage it, I would like it to be in the ballpark of the PS4 Pro. This, however, means that like the PS4, this new device would not be able to handle PS5 games, obviously. Hell, the PS4 struggles to handle its own games at the moment without sounding like a jet engine taking off. PS5 level games are just getting too demanding, they're too intense and it just would not be feasible. This means that the game library will be restricted on this new device to an extent. We know by the Steam Deck having basically the power of the PS4, PS4 level games and below will run fine on this new hypothetical PSP. But how would you play PS5 games? It doesn't really make too much sense to buy this device if you can't play your PS5 games in a portable setting. Well, with the current technology they would most likely put into this portable device, you would not be able to play them through the device itself, unless there was some kind of downgraded version. Like many have suggested, you can implement a screen mirroring technology. PlayStation already has a feature called Remote Play that essentially streams what's on the console to your smart device. It's already a thing where you can play games on your phone. It's not a perfect technology by any stretch of the imagination, but it is something that could be used to get PS5 games onto your new portable device. Obviously, this would not be feasible when you're out in the real world and you won't have access to a stable internet connection, nor would you be close enough to your console to enable this feature. But hey, it would be perfectly fine for when someone wants to play in bed or on the couch and your console is in another room. Obviously, the point of having a portable device is so you can play your games in a portable setting. So I think your PlayStation library needs to be synced to this portable device, as this would allow for you to pick up your games and play them wherever you like. I want to live in a world where Sony aren't greedy and will let you play the games you have already purchased for their consoles on this device. Imagine a world where you register your existing PS3 and PS4 games through your library on your PlayStation account, and then being able to download a digital version of those games to this device. This feeds into the whole game preservation. You can play your old PS3 and PS4 games on a handheld device. You don't need to pull out an entirely old generation console just to enjoy games again. Even implementing something like the Steam Deck, where it has something like Steam Deck Verified, so you can play the games you've already purchased on whatever device you want. It would mean that this device instantly has value. You can play the games you already own and have purchased. It means that this device doesn't ship without games because you have the games already. It would fuse your current library to this device to further elevate the PlayStation ecosystem. Now, how would you buy games for this device specifically? Let's say you don't have a PS4 but you want to play PS4 games. How could you play that? Well, obviously have a digital store or buy physical cards like the Switch. And also have a digital store for the PS1, PS2, PS3 games so people can enjoy the classics. I think the mix of exclusive portable games, loading games you already own onto the device, and being able to buy games both digitally and physically, as well as being able to utilize PlayStation's remote play feature, gives you a really good coverage and synchronicity across the PlayStation's ecosystem. This brings value and it makes sense as to why someone would want to purchase this device. It is essentially, by definition, a portable PlayStation. In terms of its other hardware, I don't think we need to go above a 720p screen. Maybe something around 6 to 7 inches is perfectly fine. Just use maybe the same screen as the OLED. Have a SIM for your data if you're out in the wild. Obviously expandable memory. I do also want a headphone jack. I know a lot of people going to Bluetooth headphones, but I've always been in situations where I've found a use for a headphone jack still. In terms of other hardware and processing power, just look to the Steam Deck as a baseline. Now moving along to one major thing that needs to be looked into these portable devices is battery life. The Switch OLED is said to last anywhere between 4.5 to 9 hours. The Steam Deck is said to reach a maximum of 4, with some reports saying that it can last as little as 90 minutes. For me, the purpose of a portable device is to be untethered, free to play where you like and not have to worry about finding the closest power point or carrying power banks just to be in arm's reach of a charge. For me, the battery would need to last at least 6 to 10 hours in a single session. Now this isn't 6 to 10 hours on the lowest setting and the lowest brightness like how they like to calculate these things. No, I want 6 to 10 hours with someone using it how this device will actually be used. Decently lit screens, high graphics to take advantage of the system's hardware, and if you're making a portable device, it needs to be playable away from a power source for several hours in order to be fully enjoyed. So that's my dream PSP. I want all the games I already own on previous consoles to be registered and put onto this new device so I can enjoy them in a portable setting. I also want third-party support so it doesn't make the same mistake as the PS Vita, where it basically died because no one was buying it because no one was making games for it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are the things that would make you buy a brand new PSP? What features are you looking for? Would you want exclusive games? All that sort of stuff, leave it in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave it a like and sub to the channel for more videos. But that's all for today, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.